Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. You know, it's your girl Wasi, and all that good stuff. Yes. Well, I was supposed to make a a story time video this week, but apparently I stumbled across a video that I said, you know what, I don't want to watch it alone. I want to watch it with you guys. So I'm gonna do it live. Yeah, I'm gonna do it live here so we could watch it together, right? So I'm gonna watch it and my reaction, and yes. So guys, here what? Don't forget to share, subscribe, like, you understand this video. Share. Right? After this intro, let's watch the video together. Enough vlog. You know, it's the girl Wasi, and all that good stuff. Here we go.
You should stick around for number 1, as we will showcase some of the most unexpected and unlikely animal parenting stories that will absolutely blow your mind. Number 14. Sujit Kumar. Sujit Kumar was nicknamed the Chicken Boy because of the way he acted like a chicken. He was found in 1978 in Fiji, inside a chicken coop where he had been locked up by his grandfather. Sujit had sadly lost his parents. His mother had taken her own life and his father had been brutally murdered. His grandfather had agreed to take Sujit under his care, but what we fail to understand is why he chose to confine his very own grandchild to a chicken coop. How unfortunate. At 8 years old, 4 years later, Sujit managed to escape the coop and was found in the middle of the road. He was flapping and clucking in the same way the chicken did. He moved like chicken, ate like chicken, picked at his food. Yeah, he sounded like a chicken too, as he would crouch down as if roosting and communicated by making a clicking noise with his tongue. His fingers had also turned inward from scratching around in the dirt. When he was liberated by the care workers, he was taken to a seniors home care where he was expected to be cared for. But that did not happen. Sujit had grown aggressive behavior. As if his previous torture was not enough, the home care workers resulted in tying him on his bed. He was tied to his bed using bed sheets for 20 years. Yes, 20 years. Fortunately, when he was 30 years old, he was saved from the seniors' home by Elizabeth Clayton. Elizabeth has since taken good care of him. Sujit was in good hands at last. At the age of 32, his caretakers still call him a boy. For 30 years, he hasn't been doing anything. He as well doesn't know how to stand or walk, claims one of his caretakers. This is definitely one of the most tragic cases.
Think about that video. Please comment below and tell me what you think, right? Hey guys, I take it over. Let me start watching the movie now. We are officially taking over Wasi Entertainment. We take it over. Let's get to the video. I can't press play. Javine, nobody got it. Watch if she coming. Tell me if she coming. Right. So let's get on to the video. But tell the background secrets. She name is Wasi. Her name is guys, I am back for more video. Let's continue. My son threw water over my cup on the back.
He's way in trouble. He dropped the bottle.
Let's continue. Hey, he pressing the remote. Watch him. Pressing the remote and nothing can be done. So let's continue. Give me the remote. Not
I
your
swear
touch.
he's trouble. That he dropped the bottle.
Bye. Yeah, guys. Let's continue to the next video.
Number 13. Homeless Toddler. Real Life Mowgli. In the winter season of 2008, in the streets of Argentina, a little boy is said to have been kept alive for free by stray cats. I mean, how else would he have survived on his own for 7 days? This 1-year-old boy had been separated from his homeless father, who had been looking for cardboard to sell so that he could at least get some food for them. The Argentinian police found the toddler safe in the hands of, or should I say paws, of 8 stray cats. As the police approached to try and rescue him, the alert cats became more aggressive and protective as the officers got close. The cats had kept the little boy warm by licking him and distributing themselves on top of him so that he could benefit from the warmth of their fur and bodies. They together had made a warm, live blanket. When they went to search for food, these caring cats saved some for the toddler and brought it to him. Upon reuniting with his son, the homeless man told the police that he was not surprised at all, since cats had always been fun. Is one of the few feral kids that have had the privilege to narrate their experience. It is a story that has been met with a lot of doubt. She claims that she had been kidnapped at age 5, and her kidnappers were hoping to reap big from the ransom money. She was later on dumped in the Colombian jungle, where she lived under the care of capuchin monkeys that had adopted her.
What?
According to research, capuchin monkeys are known to accept human kids as their own. These monkeys taught Marina how to hunt and capture rabbits and birds with her bare hands, so that she could survive in her own. After 5 years, she was found and rescued by a pack of hunters. You would think that these were good Samaritans, right? Well, wrong. The hunters decided to sell her to a brothel in Cucuta, where she later managed to escape. Now in the streets, Marina had no knowledge of human language. She found herself as a slave to one of the mafia families. Luck was on her side, as she was rescued by a neighbor by the name Maruja. And within a short while, she was able to make connections and was taken in as a nanny. It is then that she met her husband and started a family. It took an investigation by a professor in Colombia to convince people that her story was true and not made up as many thought. Do you believe her, or you are a doubting Thomas as well?
You guys
Let us know in the comment section below.
He was actually in the jungle for so long. What it think? Tell me what it take. I'm gonna do some Jamaican chat here. Tell me what it take. What do you guys think? Oh my god. What do you guys think? Seriously, do you think she spent 5 whole years in the jungle by some monkey? Really? Tell me what it is. Eat it again. Eat it again. Like, really? Wow, Jafari. You guys, tell me what you think about that video. Now let's get to the next video.
Sabunia. In 1988, John Sabunia was only 4 years old when he came face to face with the cruel side of the world. This Ugandan boy had watched his mother die after she was murdered by his very own father. If you've ever witnessed anything like this, you know that you would look for any chance to escape since you are never sure when your father will turn to you. That's exactly what little John did. He escaped home and found himself in the wild, where he's said to have found solace in a bunch of vervet monkeys. In 1991, John was about 7 years old when he was found. He resisted capture, and the monkeys didn't want him to leave either. In fact, the monkeys threw sticks at those who were trying to capture their human friend. John had calluses on his knees since he was trying to move around like the monkeys did. He mostly ate nuts and rubber crops. After successful rescue, John was taught to speak and he sang melodiously. He has even gone on tour as a member of Pearl of Africa Children's Choir. If you found that mind-boggling,
Let me know, what do you guys think about that child? That was weird. Eating only nuts and those stuff. Let's see.
For number 1, it will blow you away. Number 10. Rosham Penjing. Rosham was only 8 years old when she mysteriously got lost and disappeared in the jungle together with her sister near their home in northwest Cambodia. She was herding a water buffalo together with her younger sister when the unfortunate happened. In 2007, 18 years later, she was found by a villager. She was naked and was trying to steal rice. She was positively identified by a village policeman thanks to the unmistakable scar on her back. The villagers were in awe at how the young girl had survived in the inhospitable jungle all on her own. Rosham had no idea the local language or local culture. She would often look lost in her own thought and did not want to sleep in the family house. What species could have hosted her for that long? I guess we will never get to know, for in May 2010, the unthinkable happened. Rosham fled back to the jungle. The wild animals in the jungle as a whole must have been nice to her for Rosham to make such a decision. In June 2010, it is said that she'd been spotted in toilet near her original home. Her whereabouts and that of her sister are still a mystery. Number 9. Oksana Malaya.
Let's treat the number 9 one time.
Oksana Malaya is a Ukrainian girl who had been through a lot at such a young age. She'd been born to careless, abusive parents, sorry to say. They were both alcoholics, and one day they left their child, Oksana, outside. Looking for a place to keep warm, the little girl crawled to a farmyard dog kennel. Following the serious neglect, this beautiful girl found comfort in the pack of dogs. She was only 3 years old at the time, and she stayed with the dogs in the kennel until when she was 8 years old. Having stayed in the company of dogs for that long, Oksana couldn't speak. Instead, she barked and panted with her tongue out, like the mongrel dogs would do. She also ate and took care of her hygiene like a dog. The only words she knew at the time of rescue were yes and no. She walked on all fours. Her behavior imitated that of dogs, and she is proof that children learn by what they see. After her rescue in 1991, Oksana Malaya was removed from her parents' custody and put in a clinic where she was rehabilitated and taught to speak. However, over 20 years later, she is still cognitively impaired. Fortunately, despite all that, Oksana is happy to love and tend to animals on a farm near the mental institute she is in. What would you have done if you were in her shoes?
Let's continue. We were rudely interrupted.
Let us know in the comment section below.
Cheer rolling.
Number 8. Peter the Wild Boy. You are probably familiar with Peter Pan, Peter Piper, or Peter Parker. But have you heard of Peter the Wild Boy? Probably not. Peter is one of the oldest cases of feral kids. He goes way back to 1724. He was found naked and hairy in the woods of Heimland, Germany, by a party of hunters. He was walking on fours, and to no surprise, he had behaviors like those of wild animals. He ate raw birds as well as raw vegetables. It is in England that he earned his name Peter the Wild Boy, and was of unknown parentage. Unfortunately, Peter couldn't speak, and he never learned how to. He did enjoy music, and was taught to do manual jobs. He passed on in 1785, and his grave lies in a churchyard of St. Mary's Church, North Church, United Kingdom. He is now believed to have suffered from the very rare genetic disorder, the Pitt-Hopkins syndrome.
I think this is number 6, so let's go. 7.
The Wolf Boy.
I'm not sure.
Shambhio is an Indian boy whose story was brought to life in 1972. The jungle's #1 rule is that survival is only guaranteed to the fittest. It wasn't any different for the 4-year-old Shambhio, as the jungle was not kind to him. He had to fight wild animals so that he could have food for himself. When he was found, he was going on with his normal day, which involved playing with wolf cubs. He had razor-sharp teeth, dark skin, malted hair, long curved nails, and calluses on his palms, knees, and elbows. He enjoyed hunting chicken. He ate soil and craved blood. What would you expect from someone who was hanging out with wolves? Shamdio bonded well with dogs. He didn't speak, but he was able to learn and use sign language. He passed on in 1985. Before we move on to the next feral child, here's a quick challenge for you. If you can leave a like on this video.
I have to be working my hand with this thing because, gosh, my daughter or somebody mash up, but not mash up. That something happened to my pen from my phone and now it's not working. So here we are at number 6. Let's continue.
Medina. Medina is a Russian girl that was unfortunate to have suffered serious consequences of neglect by her parents.
Yeah,
Her father
I
left
know.
his family immediately after Medina's birth, and her mother turned into an alcoholic. She was so drunk that she completely forgot about her child's needs. Medina practically lived with the dogs. They were kind enough to play with her, share food with her, and sleep with her even on the coldest months of the year for warmth. From an infant up to when she was 3 years old, this was the norm for little Medina. In 2013, she was luckily found by social workers. She was naked and crawled to move about. Her mother was not bothered. She would eat while her daughter gnawed on bones on the floor with the dogs. Medina knew 2 words, yes, no, and would growl like a dog.
See why?
Number 3, Prava.
We are at number
Prava,
3.
a Russian boy, was found in 2008 in a room filled with bird cages. He was only 7 years old at the time. His then 31-year-old mother treated him like one of her numerous pet birds.
Oh shoot.
He fed him, didn't cane or beat him, but she didn't speak to him. He would stay in the room filled with bird feeds, birds, and their droppings. As a result, he could only communicate like the birds. He chirped instead of speaking. When he felt that he was not well understood, he would move his hands like how birds flap their wings. Luckily, he was not harmed physically, and his mother had to release Prava into child care. Prava was given psychological care and rehabilitated. Must have been a hard life for Prava at such a tender age. What do you think of this ordeal? Let us know in the comment section below.
What do you guys think of that? That was awful. That was really, really awful. Sorry.
Number 5. Ivan the Shukor. No child would willingly run away from a good home. For a child to consider that the streets or jungle are far much better, then his home must have been really hostile. In 1996, at only 4 years old, Ivan fled his home. He wanted to be far away from his mother's boyfriend, who was abusive and an alcoholic. After fleeing, Ivan found himself as a beggar in the harsh streets of Rutov, Russia. Ivan was known to have been fond of feeding a pack of wild dogs with scrap food. Due to the bond that he created with the wild dogs, little Ivan saw himself as the leader of the pack. The wild dogs, in return, fiercely protected him. Thrice he was captured by police, and each time he would escape with the help of his wild dogs. After finally succeeding in capturing him, Ivan was taken to a children's home where he was taught the human language. The Russian boy was a quick learner, but it was difficult to convince him that living with humans was better than living with wild dogs, because that is not the kind of experience he had. He preferred staying where he felt loved and protected, with the wild dogs.
Wow. Maybe I should go and live with
They
some
were there
dogs.
for him all year round, even during the harshest of days. He studied in military school and served in the Russian army. Have you had a similar experience? Please, let us know.
I think we reached number 4. Yeah.
Number 4, Amala and Kamala. Amala and Kamala were 12 and 8 years old, respectively, when they were found in a wolf's den in India in 1920. They were said to have been found by Reverend Joseph Singh, who took them to an orphanage. The Reverend, who lived in the edge of the jungle near the village of Gadamuri, Bengal, India, had to hide in a tree above the den to rescue the girls. After the wolves left, he saw two beings leave the same cave. He was bewildered by what he was seeing. At first, he could not identify the beings as either human nor wolf. When he captured them, the girls would sleep curled up and cuddle together. They tore their clothes and howled like the wolves. They could not speak. They had a sharp sense of smell, sight, could see sharply in the dark, and hearing. And they would only eat raw meat from a bowl on the floor, for they rejected cooked meals. From the investigations that were carried out, it was found that Amala and Kamala had physical deformity in their joints. The two girls showed wolf-like behavior and would not allow themselves to be dressed and bit people who tried to feed them, as well as walked on all fours.
Yes.
It was also brought to light that the two girls were not sisters. It is believed that they were both taken by a she-wolf on totally different occasions. The forehead retreated, the lower face protruded in unmistakable likeness to the foster parent beast that had shown them more of a mother love than their human mothers had shown. The family of wolves must have treated them well, because the two little girls longed to return to the woods.
Wow.
Unfortunately, they both fell terminally ill, an incident that made the Reverend painfully regret rescuing them. He began to doubt if it was really better for them to be with the humans as compared to the jungle.
Yeah.
Maybe, just maybe, they wouldn't have gotten terminally ill. Amala passed away in 1921 of kidney infection, while Kamala... Number 3, Prava.
We are at number
Prava,
3.
a Russian boy, was found in 2008 in a room filled with bird cages. He was only 7 years old at the time. His then 31-year-old mother treated him like one of her numerous pet birds.
Oh shoot.
He fed him, didn't cane or beat him, but she didn't speak to him. He would stay in the room filled with bird feeds, birds, and their droppings. As a result, he could only communicate like the birds. He chirped instead of speaking. When he felt that he was not well understood, he would move his hands like how birds flap their wings. Luckily, he was not harmed physically, and his mother had to release Prava into child care. Prava was given psychological care and rehabilitated. Must have been a hard life for Prava at such a tender age. What do you think of this ordeal? Let us know in the comment section. Russian toddler. In June 2012, social workers in Russia found a toddler confined in a room which he shared with goats. Being his sole companions, he was used to playing and sleeping with the goats. As expected, for lack of proper care, he was malnourished. He was not anywhere close to the ideal weight for children his age. When the social workers arrived to rescue the toddler, his mother escaped. This can only mean one thing. She knew exactly what she was doing. Under the care of compassionate doctors, the little boy would refuse to sleep in the cot, but instead, he would prefer to rest underneath it. Sadly, he was terrified of human beings. Poor little boy.
Here for number 1 for final. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, let's go.
Well-timed, magnificent picture captured by @SquidGallery, showing a sand girl with a habituated cheetah in Namibia. Truly, what a shot. However, there exists such a girl who spent most of her tender age with cheetahs, and this brings us to our number 1.
Cheetah what?
Tippi Digger. After her birth in 1990, Tippi Digger's parents decided to relocate from France and raise her in Namibia, a land filled with all manner of wildlife. When she turned 1 year, she made a new friend, her best friend, an elephant named Abu. According to her parents, it was love at first sight for both Tippi and Abu, the elephant. Tippi always looked forward to spending time with the elephant. She would even go out to search for her. As if that's not mind-blowing enough, a local farmer in her area adopted a cheetah who became very close to Tippy. This, however, sent chills down the spines of her parents, who feared that the cheetah would turn on their little girl during their playtime. I mean, who wouldn't? Thankfully, not a single case of aggression was seen or reported. Tippy was gentle towards the wildcat, and the cheetah in turn returned the favor. He was calm around her. While kids her age were in school, Tippy's parents were busy teaching her that some of these wild animals were deadly predators, but Tippy was one fearless girl. She went on to make friends with many other animals, not limited to an ostrich that even let her ride on its back. Connecting with animals for Tippy was as easy as ringing the doorbell, and she did it without even breaking a sweat. At a young age, she had learned the Himba tribe culture that made her interaction with wild animals and nature as a whole even better. At age 10, she was sent to a public school where she struggled to learn, and her parents had no choice but to settle for homeschooling. After acquiring her degree, Tippy went back to Africa, where she felt was her home. She had since made a documentary of all the animals she got to interact with. From her photos, it is clear that she lived a life many of us envy to have. She does appreciate being raised by wild animals, and she wouldn't want it any other way. Unfortunately, that's it for the 14 kids raised by animals. Some of these...
Wow, that was extremely amazing. Yeah, that was extremely amazing. That was really, yeah. That was nice. So guys, tell me what all you think. The next video is gonna be a story time, guys. Yeah, mix up time. Yeah, the next video is gonna be a story time. So watch out for my next video coming up next week. Yeah, y'all hear me? Next week, all you hear me? Next week, guys. So look out for it. You know it's a girl, Wasi, and all that.